Greetings, right, it's just not cold enough outside, it is freezing, it's blustery, there's like sleet and stuff. I mean, there's no snow, yeah, no snow as such. Anyhow, the reason for this video, what am I doing? I'm not going to need up for the fridge. Right, the reason for this video is about Tesco's. We recently did an order to be delivered, you know, this is important part, to be delivered between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night. Now, what happened was, 8:45 in the evening, my wife got a message on her phone to say, we apologise for the inconvenience, we've refunded you, or we're giving you £10 credit. So obviously we're a bit confused about this, because, well, what's happened? Why have we got a £10 credit? Because we've not had any other information. And I says, oh, maybe it's from something we've, you know, mentioned before, you know, because when we had things missing or whatever, you know, or something, you know. Anyhow, turns out she then got another message 10 minutes later saying the delivery, you know, because they couldn't do the delivery, we got 3 options. So we're thinking, well, this is a bit strange, you know, this late on at night. Bearing in mind we're getting frosty as well, so my car was frosted over. So they said you've got 3 options. You can either collect it from the store. So I'm thinking, well, Sheffield, the one in Sheffield's not too far. Anyhow, turns out it wasn't the one in Sheffield, it was the one in Worksop, which is 10 miles away. Obviously, if it had been a couple of, you know, if it had been some things that we could have got somewhere else, you know, quite easily, and it weren't important, we'd have probably said, right, well, fair enough, give us money back, we'll get it from somewhere else. But it was a weekly shop, you know, so it was important stuff that we needed. So what I did, I said, right, well, we'll get it back. Now, the other option was to cancel it, you know, get a full refund, or to reschedule for another day. But the problem was, because obviously, I understand with COVID and everything, so there's been quite a few situations. The problem with COVID, obviously, is there's been less slots. So the next available slot was like the following week. Now, you know, having children and everything like that, you know, we need a weekly shop, you know. So I thought, right, I'll go and collect it. So they said to us, if you go down and pick, you know, collect the thing, you need to go there before 10 o'clock. Because that's when that particular, you know, the collection part closes, you know, for the home collection service kind of thing. So I jumped in the car, defrosted it all, you know, scraped the ice off the front and everything else. Drove all the way there, not really knowing. I had a rough idea where it was, but I wasn't 100% sure, if you know what I mean, because I've never been there before. Because, like I say, the closest one to us is only like just over 8 miles away, whereas this one's nearly 10 miles away. So, you know, I know, you think, well, 2 miles is not a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, you know, that late on at night, I didn't want to be driving too far, but you know, we needed the stuff, so I went and got it. Now, one of the things when I got there, one of the problems was, it was quite dark on the car park, and I couldn't, obviously I'd not been there before, so I didn't really know the layout of the place or anything like that. So I thought to myself, well, where is this place? You know, because my son came with me, well, because he wanted to give me a hand. So my son came with me, and after a bit of messing about, we eventually, driving around the car park, we eventually found it. However, the strange thing was, there was nobody there. You know, it was completely empty. There was nobody about. So at the side of the thing, there was a number to ring. You know, it said in case of in case you require assistance, ring this number. So I rang this number, nobody answered. So right, I thought fair enough. So the next thing, I sort of contacted the number that I found on Google website. So I'm obviously sat in the car just a minute with the engine still running, so I decided to turn it off. Spoke to somebody who I thought was in that particular branch, but it was the main customer services. So they put me on hold, and then about a couple of minutes later come back and says, right, if you go to customer services in the store, the manager will be there and he'll help you. So anyway, I got into the main reception area, sorry, the main entrance, and it was there. Explained to the lady who I was. She didn't really understand my name properly for some strange reason, you know. So then she said, okay, well, and then she had a message saying, oh, he's just rung us, said that somebody's going to be here, but he's already there. I'm fine, right, okay. So then I stand about another 5-10 minutes waiting in the store. At this point, you're talking 20 to 10, you know, at night. And the kid who came out to help me with the stuff, you know, to carry it out, he was brilliant. The manager was a little bit abrupt, well, not abrupt, but a little bit off, if you like. Because I just said to him, I said, well, this is a bit odd, you know, the fact that we've been told to come in. And he says, well, what it were, he says, that the collection thing for the collection service thing shuts at 8 o'clock. He says, so I don't know why they told you 10 o'clock. He says, but, you know, we'll bring it out to you, blah, blah, blah. So fair enough, like. So we were informed that the driver had to be sent home. So we just presumed that it was because of COVID or something like that, or he's not been very well or whatever, you know, fair enough, you know, these things happen. But as I kind of thought, well, I need to make an issue of this. You know, I wasn't very happy with it. You know, getting a £10 refund wasn't really enough because it didn't really cover the cost of the fuel and everything else. And the fact it took me, you know, when I got back home and putting the stuff away, altogether, it was like 2 hours from start to finish, which was a bit of a joke, really. The more interesting thing then was, though, on the actual document that we got, he said the delivery was between 8 and 9. And he says, well, it's not between 8 and 9, it's between 9 and 10. That's what we booked. By the by, so then we thought, well, so then it gets to a point where if they know that it's supposed to be there by 9 o'clock, then why did they not send the message until 1:45? So I spoke to a lady in customer services, well, the complaints department type of thing, and she basically said to me that the reason is they might not have picked it till late and then realised later on. So as a flip side to that, my wife looked at the thing and said, well, hang on a minute, looked at the statement of the bank or whatever, and the money had been taken out in the morning, you know, at about 10:30, which basically means that they'd picked it, taken the money out, ready to be going on the van later on. So I thought, well, that's a load of rubbish then from the start. I then said, well, I don't think £10 really is enough compensation to consider that I've had to drive 20 miles from our house there and back, and also drive, because we've got a local supermarket that's less than 3 miles down the road, you know, and I could have used that if we'd have needed some stuff. Do you know what I mean? And because my wife works for a supermarket store as well, I'm not mentioning what it is, but it's not Tesco's, put it that way. So I was a bit annoyed about this, and I said to her, I actually think about it. I says, it hasn't even been £10 credit anyway. I says, because we've had to pay £4.50 for delivery. They didn't even credit that, right? So they'd not even taken that off. So at this point in time, we'd paid them £4.50 for us to go and collect the bloody things anyway, you know, and get everything. So she says, okay, well, I'll refund you that, blah, 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 fair enough, which she did. So that's okay. However, when I said to her, I said, well, I don't think £10 enough. She said, well, there's nothing else I can do about that. She says, basically, £10, that's what it is, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, right, well, I want to raise a complaint because I'm not happy with this at all, okay? Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is where it's quite important for anybody else that's had a similar issue. Make sure that the discount was taken off your bill and that you've been charged the correct amount. Now, our bill, basically, you know, came to over £100 for the following delivery, because we thought we'll give them another try, you know, and see how we go. So the next delivery that we had was delivered yesterday evening, well, last night or night before. And to cut a long story short, what happened was the total on the internet said like something like 113, whatever it was, and then the other thing said it was, they actually charged us £120. Well, you know, if it was, say, £100, it said on the thing you're going to be charged £100, and that's what it should be. However, when they actually come to and billing us and taking the money out, they actually charged us an extra £10. So my wife phoned them up last night, or whatever it was, to query this and said, what's happening? And apparently it's an issue that they're aware of, that they've mentioned to the IT, but it's still not working properly. So what I would say is, if you've been given a £10 credit because you've not had a delivery or whatever, sorry, I've got an itchy nose. Basically, if you get a £10 credit from Tesco's and you order stuff, make sure that when you actually, you know, make sure that you check the your bank, whatever. Apologies for that, just sneezed. Right, yeah. Make sure that you check your bank account as soon as you can. No, I've just been sneezing, had another sneezing episode, but I don't think you'd want to see that on video anyway. Yeah, so like I say, what I would suggest is, you know, make sure that you check, you know, what you've been billed for. So they normally do, I think it's maybe get a confirmation email as well. So if they, you know, if they say, right, it's going to be £100, and then you get the bill and they charge you £110 or whatever, you know, £10 more than it should be, give the customer services a call, and then they should refund you the money directly into your bank account, rather than messing about with your credit note, that type of thing, you know. definitely worthwhile looking into, and you know, because a lot of people, it's like we said, if we'd not checked the thing and just assumed that everything was okay, you know, we would have been £10 worse off. You know, and obviously, well, more than £10 off, because obviously we'd been the £10 thing that we'd not got, plus the £4.50 delivery that we'd paid for that we didn't have because we had to collect in the first place. So we would have been £14.50 out of pocket. Now, the reason why we had it so late on at the night is because at the time, you know, my wife's vulnerable. And she's gone back to work now anyway. But at the time, my wife was having to, you know, be off work as told by the government, and obviously, you know, that it's easier for us all just to get it ordered delivery. You know what I mean? Because, you know, trying to keep it safe as well is limiting the amount of trips that I have to make as well. You know, and to go out, and because obviously you go to supermarkets and some people are just not even bothered. They're just carrying on as normal, pushing past you. You know, not adhering to the, you know, the distancing rules or anything like that. So, you know, I would say, you know, Tesco's very disappointing. And when I said to the guy as well, I said, oh, we were supposed to have a delivery last week, we had to pick it up, and he says, oh yeah, the van broke down. So straight away I'm thinking, oh, hang on a minute, you know, so we're getting told two different things by two different people that work for Tesco's. Something's not quite right, and I don't like liars. And at the end of the day, if there'd been a problem with the van, they said the van broke down, fair enough, you know. But say he had to go home. Well, it seems a bit odd, you know. Maybe they didn't have enough vans or whatever. But sure, they could have stuck some stuff in a minivan or whatever, or done whatever needed to do. Which then raises the question: is did they then put the stuff onto the van and then have to unload it again? And if there were any fridge stuff or all like that, was it kept safe? I don't know. But definitely worthwhile thinking. And thanks very much for watching this video. And also, I've done some t-shirts, hoodies, that type of thing. If you head on to I'll put a link down below for you to check out and see what you think. So thanks very much for watching the video. Take care and consider subscribing and everything else. And if you'd like to hear any more tips or anything like that from me, by all means, give me a try, and I'll let me know what you want, and I'll see what I can do for you. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye bye.